Billiard sport behind the rack. Mika Immonen, sponsored by Best Views, and Tom from Talking Tips. This is a match of 125 points. You may begin.
All right, guys, we're set here for the lag.
Looks like Mika's got him. No.
I didn't catch it, Darren. Who won the lag?
Mika won the lag.
Mika won the lag,
There
so
we
Alex
go.
will break.
Customary for the person who wins the lag to make the other person break.
All right, guys, we're in the last match, TV table match of the night. Mika the Iceman Immonen versus Alex the Line Pagulayan. Alex set to break.
So the break is interesting. He's just going to try to knock 2 balls out.
Yeah, just freeze him on that back rail there. That was nicely done. Alex a one-pocket player, so plenty of nice touch, although I suspect Mika will shoot at that 13 ball.
He's got to take this, right?
I mean, I occasionally see people play safe. This rack is pretty open, so I think he'll take a swing. He's a more aggressive player anyway, and quite a good ball pocketer, so I might miss that by a diamond, but we can trust Mika to knock that one in the hole.
Yeah, the first player up is usually confronted with having to make a difficult shot or play safe.
And he got well on the 9 here, so he's just going to look for a
Yeah,
sort of
just going to go into the rack.
not a great result there.
So Mika is a seasoned straight pool player, won world championships, and you'll see some players who smash the rack all the time. Looks like they're hitting it with full force. Mika may do that, but on many occasions he'll just pick the balls off as he goes very systematically through the rack, and he may hit the rack or the pack more than once.
And I don't think he could repeat that particular result if he tried, but
Right,
went
went between
right through the
balls,
middle
right,
there.
he did, yeah.
I don't think that was entirely intentional. But it's interesting because everybody has their own way of navigating and attacking the rack, so we'll certainly see. And there's a pretty big difference in styles between Mika and Alex, which is always fun to see a different style matchup.
Right. At this level of play, Mika's focused on opening all the balls up at this point. All he wants to do is get them unclustered. Because,
Ooh.
unexpected miss there. That's
Yeah, I think that's taking that for granted a little bit. And
those of you who play out there, see it happen to anybody.
yes, it's so encouraging a little bit.
Yeah. Probably what happened there was he was thinking more about where the cue ball was going and took
Right.
the object ball for granted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking earlier, and he told me that there are no hard shots and there are no easy shots either, and that anything that looks easy is just a little landmine for your concentration, and then
Interesting.
you have to focus.
Well, with that miss, he's left a shot open here for Alex. It's a little bit of a spread there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how he chooses to separate that cluster sort of in the top right-hand corner of the screen. He has plenty of choices for balls he could leave for break balls if he can leave them, but
Yeah, he's got the 2 ball there right by the side that would lend well to pushing some of these balls open.
and I don't know that he'll go into them. I don't think that he has to necessarily. I think he could play this ball down in the corner, play the 2 in the side, and he could get some.
Well,
he really needs to clear at that 1-4 though, so he can
Yeah.
shoot the 15 ball in the lower
I think the
left-hand
4 ball
corner.
goes. So he's playing position on the 4 ball, I think, or the 2 ball.
You need to play the 5, then come up.
That, you know,
Yeah, we got the 5 ball there on the bottom rail. 4 and 1, you can see with the 10 sitting inside the rack. Of course, he's going to have to navigate through here.
Yeah, I think he'll take the 2.
2 here. Shot.
So interesting, both these guys, a little bit different styles, wouldn't you say?
Very different,
Yeah.
very different. I mean, Mika came up on straight pool and is a pretty, you would call him like classically trained straight pool player. You know, Alex is a rotation player, and a lot of times you can see the vestiges of somebody's original game in the way that they play a game like this, because you have so much choice. You really see the styles come out quite differently.
Yeah, Mika a little bit more methodical. Alex, you know, a little looser from what I've seen.
A little, sir.
And of course, very animated. We see that always from Alex.
Or now it's one of the things that, in addition to being a world-class player in all the disciplines, is one of the things that makes him sort of a fan favorite.
He's playing a big combination,
Wow.
a 3 ball combination, which is always a good shot when you make it.
He's almost home free here. He's got a little bit of separation. 6-8 still tied up, but shouldn't be a problem here for Alex.
Yeah, and that's an interesting thing that I always like to see is often at this level, they'll take, if there's a shot they can take that's like a harder shot than some of the other options, if it opens the rack up to the point where then it solves some of their other issues, that they'll take that shot all the time, whereas I can't necessarily take that shot because my odds of making it are not as nearly as good as his. So I was like seeing that.
He's really concentrating now on not hitting the 6 and 8 because he's
Right.
going to leave the 8 ball or the 6 ball for his break shot.
Mm-hmm.
Straight pool, you have to pick that ball out fairly early and make sure you don't knock it out of the way. Otherwise, you can't continue your run.
I think it's interesting to take the 8 here instead of the 6, and then he'll come back down for the 5.
I think he can hit it. You know, he can hit it. Yeah, that's a natural draw to the 5 ball. And then he'll come up for the 4 ball. And then he'll use the 11 ball to get to, no, I guess he's going for the 11 now.
That's the 15, I think.
Oh, the 15, sorry.
It's a little.
Oh, I don't think that's what he was playing for,
Nah,
actually. He wanted to take the 4 next and then use the 15 to get position on the 6 for the break shot.
And you can tell from the body language too. I
Yeah,
mean,
so he's not happy right now.
right.
So he's got to make a good shot here, and he's got to draw the cue ball. I'm going to go around, but
I think he'll just
Probably gonna draw it.
come down and then come one rail off the short rail, you know, up into the middle of the table if he can.
oh. Okay, well, seen a few uncharacteristically errors,
Yeah, one from each player.
one
I mean,
from each player.
Yeah, tough shot there by Alex. He was just trying to catch that rail and spin it down into the 4, and just didn't get what he wanted off the ball.
Well, I think it's just shows you the importance of staying in line even at their level. You know,
Absolutely.
That even that's when runs end for them, or you know, you see it in the other games too. And once you get out of line, it's hard to get back in. And then
Yeah, that's
it.
exactly what he wanted to do.
100%. So now he's set up well to go 2 rails again. Sort of the exact same shot he just made. Spin that ball around, parallel to the 6, and through a rack. So we'll see how Mika hits this one. He has a steep angle on the break ball, so don't imagine he's going to crush. You don't need to use a lot of velocity when you have a thin cut like that.
Take a look at the replay. The first miss here by Mika early in. This instant replay brought to you by PQ Brake Tips.
Yeah.
You
Again,
can
I
see
mean,
him. He's stretched out a little bit
stretching,
here.
right.
He's stretched,
right,
and I
Jake,
think-
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jake,
Just
you're right
misses
there.
it.
I didn't see
Yeah.
that the first time.
and he didn't really get through the ball the way
He
he
really
wanted.
didn't get in steady.
Yeah, so we'll see here. Mika queuing low on this ball. Yeah, see, nice and soft there. A lot of options here. No clear break ball yet. Maybe it's gonna have to go into these balls again. So might try and come under and use the 7 ball.
Yeah,
Kind of surprised by that. I mean, that was I didn't think he was gonna get much separation that way.
Well, at the moment he has a break ball and it's the 1 ball. So we'll see if he leaves it or
Manages
tries to
keep it or not. yeah.
bump something out.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of shots he has. He may have to take
I
this
think he's
10
gotta
ball,
play
I
10
think.
ball.
Yeah. And we are playing all ball fouls, so he really has to watch his bridge hand and make sure not to run into anything. Routine there for Mika.
The thing I like about diamond tables is the side pocket is cut in a way that you can aim at the back of the pocket or the other side of the pocket. You got a pretty wide pocket.
As compared to the way Brunswick's.
That's
I think,
compared to Brunswick's. And then I think the corner pockets are cut at a different angle than Brunswick's.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes them a little tighter.
Ooh.
Oh my. Well,
Yeah, that-
now he's got to play the one.
Now he has to play his
He's
break
got to
ball.
play the 1
He
ball.
can leave that 9 there, though, a little bit.
Well, he
I
can
mean, it-
bump. He
and
still has a lot of.
yeah.
13 is there on the other side.
I
He
think-
doesn't have to hit it.
Another difference in level that commonly observed is manufacturing break ball sort of bumping things into position, whereas they make it look quite easy.
Yeah, he really doesn't want to play this ball, but he's going to have to. But he still has a 13. He's not. Oh wow. Wow.
Well, and certainly let's not forget he's got several balls in the middle of the rack that he can try to develop if he needs to.
Exactly.
But he's left himself a little bit of a tough shot here. He's going to play this 3 and go right into the stack.
Yeah, it seems like they're both having a little bit of trouble with the speed. I don't know that either of them have had many matches on this table yet, but getting out of line like that, typically it's a speed issue, so I'm sure they'll figure that out after a couple racks.
I don't think either player has been on the TV table yet. Just a few racks of practice before the match.
Actually, we're in the last phase of the round robin part of the tournament.
So have you guys been following the brackets there, the flights?
Yes.
Who's looking good so far?
So in this
well, both
bracket,
of these, I think both of these players are in. They're in the
That's
same
right.
bracket, obviously, but they're both in. And then John Smith is in for people who know John's name from many things, but one of them most recently was running 626 balls to break a.
I don't know if it's much of a surprise, but I saw Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 5-0 after
Yes,
yesterday.
he's in,
He's playing
yeah.
very strong.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, which is interesting because I don't think he has much background in the game necessarily, but he's a great shot maker and a great player. So
Yes, he was in my bracket, and I had the pleasure of watching him run 90 balls.
and you see that, I think he ran into that ball softly like that on purpose to just develop it a little tiny bit, and I think that's one of the things about straight pool that makes this such a beautiful game is his ability to do something like that, whereas I probably would have knocked it halfway across the table.
So here he has a quandary because he doesn't want to shoot the 13 ball, which is that the 13 or 11? That ball.
It looks like
That's
he's
the
got
12.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
his
12,
break ball's
okay.
a 12.
He doesn't want to shoot the 12 ball because that's his break ball. So he has to either take a cut shot Unless he can see the 3 ball, which I
He
can't
can.
do. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's an
that-
easy shot.
That was the 4. So that goes that 14, 5, 9, 12, I think.
Exactly. So he'll try and go down toward the 9 and come a little bit off the rail so that he has an
Yeah,
angle.
he's perfect. He's
yeah,
perfect.
it's a perfect shot. He now has an angle to go back naturally
Yeah, he
to.
pretty much wants to come center table here, or a little bit shy.
He hit that all firm.
Yeah, he went farther than he meant
Went
to.
further
So I
than he
mean,
went to.
again, another little problem with the speed. But I think the ball is high enough that if the ball is high enough and you don't have a hugely steep angle and you can go right into one of the head balls, it's a fair break. You can still get a lot of separation just hitting down on one of those head balls. So you may see him hit this one with a little more pace than he hit the previous one because of the shallow angle, and he has to manufacture a little angle with stun. Yeah, so he hit that quite hard.
Yeah, he did. He hit that hard.
And he,
That was a very good shot.
I think he got a good result. It's hard to tell if he can see that 6 ball or the 5 ball. But I think either way it's the 14 this side. Okay.
So once again, he's concentrating on 2 things: opening up the clusters and clearing the pockets out, so that if there are balls around the pocket, he wants to move them so that balls have a pathway into the pocket. It's no sense opening up a cluster if pockets are not open to shoot the balls in.
We saw Alex have a tough match against Sean Wilkie last night late, and dropped that match 125 to 111, I believe.
And that's Alex's only loss in the tournament so far. He's won all his other matches.
And I think Sean is.
Sean will also advance into the bracket, so
think-
it will be.
I don't think he's lost a match.
He has. He
Yeah.
has, yeah.
He lost to Mika.
He lost to Mika.
Oh, he lost to Mika.
His very first match.
So the interesting thing will happen if Mika wins this match, he's first in his bracket. He'll be undefeated. Yeah. If Alex wins this match, there's a 3-way tie for first in the bracket between Mika, Alex, and Sean. And since they all beat each other,
Come down to ball count,
that's
correct?
right. So we'll go to ball count after that. We go head to head first, then ball count.
Looks like he'll
So
be.
we'll see. I think he'll take the 2 here. I mean, mostly he's focused on not. Ooh, that was
He didn't like that shot.
that was a little tricky. I think at this point he's mostly focused on not shooting the 3 ball. So he needs to. He may have been trying to follow that into the short rail and come up. He'd like to clear that 1 ball out of there.
So he's going to have to shoot the
11 ball now. I'm thinking he'll.
like 11 or this, or one of the balls inside pocket.
He might shoot the 8 ball and break up the 1-7.
Yeah, there he goes.
Oh, sorry, the 9-7.
Yeah.
So that was nice. So that opens things up for him. He's going to want to get over there and take that 1 ball sort of sooner rather than later. So you may see him go to the rail. See, and that's really impressive, I think, to run into the correct ball. Not the middle, but
And
full
moving
into the
exact-
1
right.
like that, to know exactly where on the ball you're going to hit.
Well, and to make the one land where he wanted it to, because he didn't want it to block the 6, so he had to hit it exactly right.
It's really smart too by Mika, because if you look at the table, he's left the 3 and the 9, so he's got 2 possible break balls just in case.
Nice to have a backup.
Of course, with Mika being right-handed, I'm sure that he will
Yeah,
like to play the 3.
As you're about to see, he could give most of us like the 5 ball with his left hand. If you've ever seen him play left-handed.
Well, it looks like he's decided here.
Well, if he shoots a 3 in the side and he gets on this line with the 7 ball, it's a pretty
Yeah,
easy
he
sort of
gets a good
stun
ball.
over to the 9 ball. That's a good end pattern there for him. Yeah, so this is perfect. He's just gonna stun to the long rail and come out just a little bit and leave himself a nice angle on the 9 ball. It was a very nice end pattern there. Perfect. He's perfect.
So for those of you who are interested in developing your straight pool game, when there's 5 balls left on the table, see if you can take the same pattern or route that Mika or Alex takes to get to a break shot.
Because I think they'll work through the rack differently, but at that point, they should pretty much be playing
Right, they're
in
committed to
a
it.
similar way because they want to move the cue ball as little as possible. Ideally, if you can work it out, you want to almost stop shots or shots where your margin of error on position are really large because you don't want to be playing pinpoint position on a break ball unless you really, really have to. So that was, I mean, extremely ideal. You can see the spread on the balls. I mean, the only ball without a pocket really is that sort of tiny 7-4 cluster, and that's not going to be any problem for him. So I think he'll make quick work of this rack.
Hey, Mika playing at a very fast pace so far.
Yes, that's a good observation, Jake, because he does have he has a rhythm to his game when he starts playing.
He certainly is a rhythm-based player. You sort of see once he gets on a roll and really gets in stroke, that's when it's dangerous.
Yeah, he almost reminds me of John Schmidt just a little bit. Very fluid.
It is
fast.
It is that rhythm.
Yeah.
But most of the great players at this game play fast. Like Torsten Homan plays fast. John Smith plays fast. Mosconi used to play fast. I mean, they more or less know what to shoot and just sort of get on with it.
Yeah, for a lot of these guys, it's got to be almost second nature, right?
At this point, sure. I mean, you got to remember too. I think people look at the result of this, but this is his millionth rack, right?
Right.
So
yeah, exactly.
And Mika, no slouch in the high run category either. I think he's right at about 340 or 350, I think is his high run. So
wow.
Certainly in rare company there.
He didn't want to be extremely straight on the 6 ball
No,
here.
and I thought he can draw. I mean, as long as it's not frozen, he can draw back. But if it's not frozen, I sort of figured him to leave that for a key ball. Because if he's going to use the 14 as a break, that's not a bad key ball. As long as you leave yourself a little bit of angle on it from your second to last ball, that's not bad.
So he really wanted to be a little off the rail and play the 6 ball, but because he's frozen to the rail, he doesn't want to take a chance on hitting the lip of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'll see if you can figure out what he's going to do, what ball he's going to leave as his break ball, and what path he's going to take to get to it.
Yeah, I suspect he'll roll forward a little bit here and shoot the 8 up table, and then shoot the, I think 4-8, 12-6. Because if he can, he'll just roll forward a little, shoot the 8.
So he's bumped this 4 ball nicely.
Yeah, so I think he'll come forward a little, right, and then take the 8 up a little bit, and then just roll forward on the 12. And that way he's got pretty good margin for error. He'll just run into the rail, leave himself a little bit of angle. He's going to go on the side with this.
This
That's
is
interesting. I
interesting,
didn't
yeah.
think he would take that.
So he's
Oh, wow.
I don't know what he tried to do there.
Yeah, he might have just been a little bit on the wrong side of it to roll forward.
Oh, he
I
doesn't
think
want-
I
he
think
wants
I
the,
don't think he likes the 6 as a key ball.
No,
which,
he doesn't. That's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he was trying to get on play position on the 6 there. So
He certainly was.
now here's the difference between his level and most of us. He may in fact shoot the 6 from here, where the
12 ball.
12 ball is a much easier shot.
Yeah, I
think
think
he'll
he'll
just
take
draw
the
back
12.
here.
Yeah,
He's gonna take
no,
the
he's going to
12.
go forward.
Oh wow, look at that.
Yeah, he's gonna
Yeah,
go.
I think that's angle. But see, this is a perfect key ball. He just don't get on
No,
the
he doesn't
rail.
want to be frozen.
Yeah, he's okay. I mean, he can, unless the 6 is frozen, he can sort of create a little bit of an angle here and stun it out a few inches. But
He may have to go
he
forward.
may go
here,
forward.
yeah.
Yeah, he may go
He's
forward.
going to go forward, I think. And another inch, if
Yeah,
the cue
he's-
ball was
he's
another
queuing
inch
to go
out from the rail, he would have an easy shot. But here he has to use a lot of spin, and he doesn't like the result because he has a very thin angle now on his break ball.
Yeah, he's okay though. I mean, I think this is another one I don't think we'll see him crush.
Well,
But-
Mika on a 44 ball run, and this is what really led to it here, guys. You can see Alex get it out of line, what you were talking about a little bit earlier, Michael. And you can see where he tries to play the 15 up here in the corner. And just misses it. Just by scratches right there on the side.
He got a hold of it a little too much.
Yeah.
So let's see what Mika does with this. I think this is...
I think he may hit this with a little pace because
You're not worried about the scratch here?
well, no, I wouldn't be worried about scratch here. They don't want the ball to roll off. So I think he can hit that.
Yeah, see, I didn't think he would kill that because I think he was worried about coming forward off the rack like that. But, and honestly, he's got the 12 up table, and if he cinches that, he's in pretty good shape.
It's interesting because where the break ball is in terms of high or low on the rack determines how you're going to hit it. Because some shots where the break ball is close to the rack, actually if you hit it hard, you can end up stuck on the side of the rack where you hit it. And they know which ones to hit hard and which ones to roll. But to hit easy like you just indicated there.
Well, and some of it too, I think, whether they can accurately predict if they're going to hit a ball full or hit in between two balls on the rack. Because if you hit in between, you get stuck. Whereas I think some people have had the tendency to be hitting the break ball like it's a 9-ball break.
Yeah.
And they hit about 400 miles an hour, which will a lot of times prevent you from getting stuck, but obviously can cause you to miss the ball or lose the cue ball. And I think people have gotten that from Torsten because he popularized that sort of huge power break where he draws the cue ball all the way up the table. But I think people overuse it a little bit.
That's a good point, Darren.
Well, the younger players who come up on 9-ball in the rotation games, they tend to hit everything as hard as they can to spread the balls. And even though Thorsten, I think we do have to give credit for being sort of the inventor of hitting the break shots hard enough to draw the cue ball to the back rail and then back to the center of the table. He knows when to do that.
Right.
And
he doesn't do it as much as...
Yes, he has a lot of discretion when he does it. Because he knows all the break shots and how to hit every one of them.
I remember that from Mike Siegel's tape, right? Perfect straight pool. He sets up all the break shots and shows you how to hit all the break shots.
Yes.
I think this 4-ball goes, so I think it should be okay here. It's a little bit hard to see the angle.
No, I think he can shoot that. I think he's just thinking about where he wants to go now.
Oh, yeah, that one.
He's coming across so he can play the 2 and the 7-ball.
Well, he's got a nice key ball in the 10 and a break ball in the 3 if he wants it. It's a little low, so he may try and bump something here, but we'll see what he does. He may have wanted to have a slight low angle on the 2 so he could run into the 7.
He may bump. No, he didn't. So he's going to... Oh, he tried to draw back and hit the 10 a little bit. So... At this level of play, you'll often see players, instead of trying to avoid balls in order to get at the ball they want to shoot in terms of position, they bump balls where they want them, and then they shoot off. It's a much different game at this level.
Well, they don't get stuck very much.
No, they don't.
I think it's really interesting that they don't get stuck more than they do because they understand the collisions.
Right.
And even if you watch a pro who, I remember John Mora played in our tournament years ago, and obviously John is a great player, but you could tell that he wasn't as familiar with the nature of the collisions, being primarily a 9-ball player. And then, if he picked that up, obviously he'd be able to play at the high level too because he's so good. But it was interesting to see that. So this is perfect. So he can just shoot the 10 and roll up a couple inches, and he has a little low break ball here. I sort of like these. These are pretty if he goes forward a little and he goes through the corner. See that? That's interesting to shoot that ball like that. But he must be feeling a little bit better about the speed of the table.
Yeah, you can always tell.
You'll see him go the extra mile. That's the great thing about Mika's game, though, is that he has that flair. Where I think 95% of players would have just rolled up a couple inches and not taken the extra, but he'll take that shot. I always like that about his game.
You know what they say, draw for the show, follow for the dough.
You know, he
That's,
told me that one time. I was playing him in 9-ball, and I put I had ball in hand. He scratched on the break or something, and I had ball in hand, and I put it down to draw the 1. And he said, you know, Efren told me never to do that. And I always listen. And I'm telling you too, don't ever draw when you can follow.
Right.
Oh, that is interesting.
Just as far as controlling your speed. So that was nice right there, though. I mean, he went through the corner of the balls, and you don't get much separation when you do that. So he had a nice secondary break ball there, and you can see the stroke where when he puts follow on the ball and it hits the rack, and then it continues to follow through the rack like that. That's all stroke. You know, that's ball striking.
So I think, as we indicated, a player who's been played straight pool is a foundation game. Will usually work around the balls, and the rotation players like to open them all at one time with really hard hits. And there is a classic argument as to which game it's better to learn first. And straight pool is, I guess, from my background, which is, I go back as far as watching Mosconi play 15 or 16 times. My background is straight pool, and I think straight pool, myself, I believe, is the best foundation for pool, because you learn how to break up clusters, and you have to use a lot of finesse to get around the table.
And Mika came a little short here. So interesting to see what he comes up with. I don't know that he has a shot unless the 15 passes into the side.
Guys, if you're just tuned in, please hit that share button. This is the last match of the evening. You're watching Mika Immonen versus Alex Pagulayan. I'm Jake Lawson, and I'm joined in the booth by Darren and Michael Frank. So thank you for tuning in.
And just for my 2 cents, I think you're right that straight pool has all the has shot making and position play and finesse. And I think you can see when you watch a guy like Torsten or Mika play a rotation game, there's a precision that I think can be lacking.
Yeah, the position play is
It's different. It's different. You
yes,
can tell.
and they open up clusters of balls very quickly and very efficiently.
Okay, here we go. I guess the 15 does pass in this side.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah.
So,
And he leaves Alex with a nice open
leaves
rack here, but
Alex
that's a
with
nice, this is basically an open. I mean, they both made a mistake early, but you've basically got an opening run of 62. So Mika halfway there, but it's interesting at this level too. The score doesn't really matter because
Right, each player
it's
can put 100 at any time, right?
exactly. So
Exactly
the
right.
score is not that relevant.
exactly right.
You really have to bet on the guy at the table, no matter what the score. Mika could have an 124 right now, and you still sort of would have to say Alex has the advantage because he did that to me last year. I think the final score was something like 125-8. I got one shot, and it was over.
It's this TV table's been playing tough all week. We've had a couple high runs, right? What is it, 5 or 6 guys? 125,
Yeah, I think there have been
126.
125, 126 and out. I don't think anybody did 127 from 2 fouls, did they?
No, I don't
Because I
believe.
think there was a 126 and
But
quite a
nobody,
few 125s.
nobody on a 125 on this table.
Not on this table?
And we have seen time after time some trouble with those side pockets. We saw Albin Ocean struggle last night at 123, missing 2
Oh, I heard about
shots
that.
in the side. And
That's
it
brutal.
sneaks up and gets Mika here as well.
So now we'll get a chance to see Alex's style. I think he'll clear these balls out, maybe come over on the right side here and
Alex
hope
is
to take the 4.
Alex plays every game he plays great.
Oh, he's an unbelievable
He's an
player.
unbelievable player. He's got a lot of flair. He's a lot of fun to watch, actually.
I always thought it was interesting because I remember first watching him probably in the 90s, I guess, and he had that big, loopy, sort of Filipino style stroke, and then he took some years off the game, and when he came back, had this so he totally changed his cue action. You don't see that much, and I always thought it was really, really interesting. And I asked him once, and all he said was, "I just do what the shots tell me to do." Hey, Alex, very philosophical. We had a conversation this time about how you have to have fun because you give it all back in the end, and it doesn't matter. And I said, "Are you a pool player, or I think we're going to see self-help seminars by Alex Pagulayan pretty soon. Pool lesson and meditation and yoga retreat. And Alex the Lion Pagulayan."
Well, let's try to figure out from here what his pattern is going to be. Because he knows exactly what he's going to do from here, or at least try to do.
I think he's got to take the 14 here, come 2 rails up. You can see him pointing over there at the 4 ball. So he'll have the 4 or 9.
Yeah, I think right, exactly. He'll come 2 rail over here and clear the 4 out. He needs to clear a pocket for the 12 ball also. So I don't think that goes anywhere. And the 10 is a good key ball. I mean, if he may come under this and shoot the 12 ball up table, and then shoot the 1-10, and assuming he plans to leave the 9 ball, he could also, of course, leave the 1 ball if he prefers a farther away break ball, which apparently does because he's shooting the 9 ball, so he's going to run into the 12 here.
Yeah, I think his plan was to play almost every ball in this corner pocket where the 9 went.
And look at that speed on that bump, because he just manufactured a perfect key ball.
Right.
And
now it's easy.
They make break balls, they make key balls. It's quite amazing. Really, that's incredibly hard to do reliably.
And a key ball is the ball that's right before the break shot.
Right.
That makes it so you actually get a perfect angle on your break shot.
And this would be the key to the key.
Right, so I can't quite see his angle. I don't know if he can just draw back.
I think he's relatively straight. I think he can come back maybe 3 inches or so. And
yeah,
he's fine right there. And then he'll just roll forward a bit for a nice angle. He'll probably take a pretty steep angle on this so he can hit higher on the rack. Yeah, see, he would like to have a nice angle on this.
The other thing that's...
He'll just roll this over about 2 balls with. Comes perfect off the rail.
That was really nicely done.
You notice that players at his level a lot of us would have just hit the 11 ball easy and rolled it in the side pocket, and be happy with the angle on the 1 ball.
Yeah.
Whereas he's confident enough to go to the rail and not roll the ball so slowly that it rolls off. So they're going to, players are going to hit everything solid.
They don't like to roll balls if they don't have to.
Well, it's a good point, Michael, too, because by going to the rail, he's guaranteed that he's going to be on that back side of the 1. So very smart shot. It's
interesting though that because normally you'll see him play break balls higher because he's short.
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously he knows he's short, so he takes that into consideration when he plays position. So you don't often see him do this where he'll play a lower break ball, or he'll put the cue ball lower, whereas like taller players can afford to put the ball down there and have a closer shot. It's a little bit of an advantage actually. So
this has got to make the shot a little difficult here.
Yeah, Alex quite good with the bridge though, because he's very practiced with it, given his size. That's pretty
he's not going to be happy
he really didn't get. See, and I think that probably is the difference. So if he had been able to stroke full at that ball without the bridge, he could have put enough velocity on it to go through the corner of the balls, and he just didn't have enough there, and he couldn't get through.
So he's confronted with where to play safe from here. And it's not easy because there's a ball up table or down table.
So he'll look around for dead balls and things first, but it doesn't look like he sees anything.
So what would you do from here?
Take a foul.
Yes, you can take a fail, but if you get 3 fails in a row, the balls are re-racked and you lose 18 points.
You can see how close he is. He's just going to take an intentional
he is
foul
gonna take
here.
a foul here. I mean, and the thing is, it's hard to take the first foul because then if you
Right.
both end up, he'll be the first one on 2 fouls, which, as my father was saying, would mean that he would be at the risk of 3 fouling and have to shoot. So it'll be interesting to see. I suspect Mika will also take a foul here, but
Well,
and you do have to. The thing is, you have to be careful because you do have to make forward motion with your cue. It used to be that you could tap
Right.
sort of the top of the ball with the tip, but that's a foul in our tournament, so that's not. It's automatic 3 fouls if you do that.
Oh, I
Did he
don't
catch
see.
part of that ball?
I'm not sure if he fouled there or not. He threw his hand up, as Mika is wont to do, to indicate that he was unhappy. I'm not sure if he didn't nick that 9 ball or not, but he didn't put a foul up for himself, so we'll
guess
have to
I'm-
wait and see.
I'm a little baffled by that shot in some ways because
He should have just taken an intentional foul there.
if he takes an intentional foul at this level of play, these players are not afraid to take the 3rd foul
Sure.
and re-rack the balls because they're not going to let their opponent shoot at any cost.
Oh yeah, giving up the 15
yeah,
or
better
the
off
18.
giving up the 18 balls. Yeah, and
100%.
Then you re-break, and then for these 2 players, running another 18 balls is not much of an effort.
Right, and that was quite an excellent shot there
Yeah,
because
so-
he stuck him on the rack, controlled.
In a sense, now
the 12
Mika
to
gave up
13
his
ball.
leverage, right?
Right, because he had Alex on a foul.
Right. I think he'll just try to knock this ball toward the rack. Make Mika shoot.
Very smart shot.
Yep.
Yeah, and Alex,
Very
a
good
great,
shot, too.
great one-pocket player. So
Right, so
safeties are.
right.
Yeah. The guys are tuned
Yeah,
in
so
now.
he may.
Go ahead.
He just called a dead ball, didn't he?
Yeah, let's take a look.
What are you
I
looking
think he called the 5 ball, which is that lower right-hand corner ball there on the stack next to the 14. I'm pretty sure he called that 5.
at? These are always complicated in the sense of
Sure,
what balls
yeah.
are touching what balls.
Very
'cause that determines
complicated.
which way the ball you're aiming at, the ultimate ball you want to go in the pocket is going to go. So there's lots of spins, and it's generally the opposite direction if it's only 2 balls. So if you want to throw it to the right, you hit it on the left. If you want to throw it to the left, you hit it on the right. But when there's more than 2 balls, then it gets to be which ball collides with which ball and spins it which way in order to make your object ball go towards the pocket.
Right, because even if they're frozen, it'll throw. So it's interesting to see what he elects to do here. Because, obviously he wants to be really, really careful about it because if he opens them up, he's going to hand Alex a wide open rack, which is sort of the worst of all possible worlds.
Well, he did create his own dilemma here because if they were still on fails, he would have pretty much had to prevail in that battle. Now he's forced to make a very good safety
Ooh,
and take
there
a
it
shot
is.
right.
What a shot.
What a
Very
great shot
nice,
that
very
was.
nice.
Right. So
Those are always exciting to see.
he's pretty happy.
Yeah,
now.
they're
He's-
laughing. They're laughing about
as
something.
You can see, he's chatting him. So,
Yeah, Alex always puts you in a good mood.
yeah. Well, actually, right now they're just playing for what their seeding is in the final. In the
Right.
in the final.
Right.
What is it? 24.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's 4 from each bracket, 6 brackets.
4 from each bracket,
players
okay.
will go through. But the winner of each bracket will get a first round bye as your sort of reward for winning your bracket. And then you're seeded into the finals.
Yes. And anybody who gets into the final 24 is a paid place. I think it's 700. I think.
Of course, big purse here For the American straight pool, 42,000. First place, 10 grand.
Yeah, I'd like to point out that second place is $6,000.
Yeah.
And a lot of tournaments will do that where they, they pay 10 to first, and then second place gets like $1,500
Sure,
or something.
right.
I always thought that was kind of robbery. So, really important. Peter Burr, as our tournament promoter here, has built this tournament up over 15 years to, what we think is the best straight pool event in the world, and really want to thank him.
Yeah, it's been a great production. Everything is just planned out perfectly. We're definitely seeing some high-level play.
Oh,
nice,
look at that shot.
Nice carom
There
there.
you go. There you go. There's one most of us didn't think of.
So, he got
Another great shot by the Iceman.
So he will take this cluster here, and come back down the table. Know that he's going to have a break ball at the moment he's super happy with, so he might attempt to move something or manufacture something here.
So the first 3 days of the tournament are it's a round robin format. 7 people were in a bracket. Everyone then played 6 matches. Top 4 players go into the final 24, and then from there it's single elimination.
Is anybody really close in the bracket? Is there some tough brackets? Have you guys seen?
Yes. I had to add up. There's some ball differentials that came into
Wow,
play.
okay.
Yeah, there's a few ties in there, so
There's
it
a
is going
few
to come into
ties.
play. Usually each year, a bracket or two, the ball differential will come into play. You always have a couple surprises. I mean, I think 125 is a relatively short race when you're playing. The field is so strong.
Sure.
Literally, the majority of the field can run the 125. So
Now, once you go into the knockout stages, does it change from 125?
yes, it
Goes
goes up
up.
to 150,
Okay.
I think. And then last year we did the final to 200. If it were up to Peter, we would play the final to
1,000
to
for you.
1,000, and then we'd be here for 6 months.
Wow.
So it's the longer race will favor the better player, like
Sure.
in anything. And when you're playing single elimination too, it was the thought that to have a little bit longer of a race, you would see people come with some runs, and in the longest races you'll see people just hit you with such big runs you can't really overcome them, which would make it favor somebody like a Torsten or a John Schmidt.
Sure.
Or Darren.
Or
Darren ran 200
Yeah,
and
Darren
out.
ran 200 and out
Yeah.
too. Yeah, true. Darren
In a
Appleton,
200-point
yeah.
tournament, he ran 200 and out.
My namesake, of course.
All right.
Of course, Darren took a little time off, back to playing full
Yeah,
time.
it's really good to see him back. Darren is such a great competitor, and
And he's in. He made,
mhm.
I know he has at least 4 wins.
Let's take a look at this shot guy by Mika. You can see here everything's tied up. He's already looked at the rack several times. A little frustrated, you can see there, but he ends up calling the 5 ball, and he sees it real well, and just
Yes, he
puts it
does.
right in the
Center of the
pocket.
pocket.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that practice. So this break ball, I think he's going to hit quite hard. He sort of has to. So you're going to see a little stun draw here. Yeah, there you go. So when you don't have much space between the object, he neither had space nor angle. It's sort of like one or the other will generate velocity, go into the rack and separate the balls, but he had to manufacture it there. So.
Of course, he's got 2 balls down on the break here.
I think also have noticed the entry fee for the tournament was $300.
It's been $300 for the last 15 years.
Peter refuses to raise it.
Yes.
Every dollar goes to the players.
Every
Not
dollar goes to the
him
players.
and the staff. We all volunteer, and are committed to making this tournament go for the players. And we want to thank Billiard Sports Network for being here this year. The stream is better than it's ever been, and we want to thank Pascal Dufresne for the scoring here, the scoring system that we're using, which has been really great.
That's phenomenal. He told me it took him just over 3 years. to put that together. So
Yeah, a labor of either love or insanity. I don't know which one.
right.
But I'm happy with the result. I mean, it's terrific. I think the scoring in straight pool sometimes confuses people because of the rack score
Sure,
and the
yeah.
game score, and then if you're not used to it, it can be confusing. So people don't see the score going up when the ball's going in, and then all of a sudden it changes. So
Mika's left himself tough here. He did not anticipate to roll his cue ball all the way
all
up
the
on
way
the
down,
rail.
right.
And you could see him earlier just looking at he's looking at this 3-ball combo to see if the 1 goes.
that would be quite interesting. I mean, I think he's gonna have to shoot the 6-ball here. I mean,
So tough.
in a certain way, even.
See him taking a look
Yeah,
here?
I know, but that's like, if it's dead,
Right.
he's looking at the kiss on the 2 and the 3, but so he would have a kiss 3-ball combination.
Yeah.
He's got an extraordinarily difficult execution if he plays that 1 ball because he has to hit the 3 ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yes,
got
they-
the 2, 3,
Right,
10,
he has
1.
he has to hit the 3 so thin.
No, he's gonna hit the
Yeah.
2 into the 10-1.
He's going to play
Yeah,
something
see,
else.
had to play that 6-ball. Yeah,
Look at this.
yeah. But that was a great shot too. That's no.
That was a great
That's
shot,
no
sure
hanger.
was.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to shoot it from the rail that far away.
Right. And I think
He's going to have to make another great shot.
the percentage on those sorts of shots too is another place you see it. Obviously.
He doesn't particularly like this because this was a potential break ball. He may have to shoot.
Yeah, I think he could be all right though if he shoots this, takes the 8, and he can come around for the 10-1. He could put himself in a position to shoot the 3 and bump the 2 over for a break ball. He's certainly got balls he can bump, or he could. Yeah, I think he'll
Wow.
be able to make something out of that. Yeah, he never
2 terrific shots in a row.
never rolls that ball. Really likes to hit that ball with pace. Likes to hit it firm.
Right.
And when you're close like that and you cut the ball, you've got that sort of collision-induced throw, so you're sort of apt to overcut it. And he canceled that out with a little bit of spin, but
Let's see where he goes here.
yeah, and he may come up into the 10 here, because if he bumps the 10 just a couple inches, that's quite a nice break ball. So we'll see what he does.
A few options here. Interesting to see which ones he takes. So he's probably going to use the 8-ball to break up that little cluster.
Yeah, looks like it.
And he can bump the 10 as a break shot here. It's called manufacturing a break shot. And-
Yeah, that was
and
really
the art of that is leaving yourself a shot afterward.
right.
So,
Yeah, 100%.
yeah, so here he's got a
I know that by how rarely I leave
Yeah,
myself a
me
shot
too.
after
Yeah.
I do that.
Yeah.
And that I think there,
Same
like
boat.
he drawing over there to get to the 1 immediately, always solving the problem like right away. He doesn't want to leave that ball at all.
exactly.
So I think pretty routine from here. He's got a nice
He does. 2
sort
stop
of
shots.
15. Yeah. You just take the 15 and take the 2 and just roll a little bit. Actually, don't think he wanted to come back on that, but
There you
yeah.
go.
So
That's what
he
wants
was
to do.
straighter than I thought. So
There-
no, that was a nice,
Yeah.
very very
Good pattern,
nice sort of pattern there. Oh, look at those stats. That's terrific.
So, Mika at the table, he's just a threat to win the game.
Yeah, at this point, only
Right.
needing.
He's not expected to give Alex another shot
So
from here.
he needs 2 racks and change
Right.
to get out here. But again, if he misses at any point, Alex could still very capable.
Speaking of high runs, the first day the tournament started, which was a Tuesday, John Smith was on the table practicing. He ran 266 balls.
which at this point is probably average for him,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Well, that to me was when he was trying to break the record, because I followed the whole thing. Obviously, it was really exciting if you're a straight
Sure,
fan.
yeah.
So he was so committed to it, and he was posting all these updates. And a friend of mine, Jerry McWhorter, who makes some of the most beautiful cues ever, put together a spreadsheet of how many times he ran 300 and 400.
Yeah.
It was absolutely insane.
Amazing.
I mean,
Amazing,
it was
yeah.
just
And I think that's a good point, because even though everybody is so
focused on the
focused
record.
on the 626, let's think about how many 3 and
Right.
400s that he put up.
Exactly.
Absolutely astonishing.
And he had a statistic too about he missed like less than 1% of break balls. He basically never missed break balls. You know, it was really astonishing effort. You know, right?
Yes, and he plays at an extraordinarily fast pace.
Mm-hmm. It was interesting too, because he was having to confront all these other problems, and he would sort of crowdsource it on Facebook, where like he needed better shoes because his feet were getting tired, and he
Right.
needed all these different things. So.
Well, I think it's really important when you talk about the accomplishment with John Smith. Let's just talk about straight pull in general. The type of wherewithal you have to have. I mean, if you play 3 or 4 matches running 125, certainly a lot different than running a race to 9 in rotation. So.
Right. No, it's definitely true.
Well,
I mean, because you would have to make, even if you ran a 9-pack, you make a maximum of 81 shots. Right. So it's just.
Well,
you
the
know,
other
and
thing-
the concentration, because
Yes.
you have to concentrate
Right.
on every.
In this game, you're concentrating for hours at a time. And
Mhm.
it's not. There's no break in the racks
Yeah.
between
Yeah, you
to
can't
stop
last for a
and
second.
it's really an extraordinary game. In a
What-
certain way, pressure when you're playing at this level, because you can't miss a ball.
Well, Mika just 25 balls away.
So we'll see here. I mean, he's definitely going to try and leave that 11. The 2 is sort of his ideal key ball for that, but he may be shooting it now. So is he shooting the combination?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm not sure that he needed to do that
Yeah,
there.
that was a bit of a confusing choice. I think that was. He really didn't want to take that 2 ball. He didn't have another great way to get on the 11. I think it would have required a lot of travel to get on the 11 otherwise, and he wanted to leave it, and as a result, took a slightly riskier shot.
He certainly rushed that shot a little bit, I
Yeah,
feel.
and that is a tendency of his sometimes. If he's in a good rhythm and then, gets a little out of line and has to shoot a shot like that, they have flaws in their game too.
Certainly the look of disappointment on Mika's face right now.
Yeah, well, he knows that. I mean, Alex could run 107 and out. I've been on the receiving end of that personally, so I can attest. But it's also hard. I mean, he's been sitting the whole time Mika just ran all those balls, and so he's hit very few balls over the last however long the match has been going on, almost an hour now.
Well, that's an art in its own, don't you think, Darren? I mean, the ability to just sit while players running, 70, 80, 90 balls.
100%. I think that's one of the things that make pool so hard that people don't often appreciate about the game is you can fight back in almost every other game.
Right.
Tennis or golf, you can actively do something. In this, you just have to sit there and sort of take your medicine.
Right.
And then you have to get up and play at a high level to win. And I think that's an incredible mental burden. In addition to physically, you get cold. You're not moving your arm. Your muscles tense up.
Sure.
It's a difficult thing about pool.
But I think it's the case in any sport. Those that can handle the pressure, those you see in a lot of the finals.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's interesting that there's they're not just technically great players. You can't just be a technically great player and win championships. You have to also be able to handle pressure and, you know, deal with the mental side of it too. Just being a competitor, it's almost a different skill set than being able to play great pool. There are a lot of people I think that can play great pool and are not competitors necessarily. So
Here's the combo.
yeah, and I still
Mika's sitting on 101 here. Certainly had an easy shot on the 2 on the side, and decides to take the combo. Thought it was straightforward, and he just missed it right into the rail.
Well, it's almost safe to assume.
So let's see what Alex can put on board here. He's just going to hit this with a little draw.
Let me mention that Alex's cue ball is slightly below the side pockets. That's because of his height.
Yeah, so that time he did play a little.
He'll put the cue ball where he can reach it and put a full stroke on it,
Yeah,
which is
that's
a
a
little
good point.
longer for him than it would be for a lot of other players.
Well, and we saw him have to use the bridge last time and underpower it, so I think we probably won't see him make that mistake again because he left it a little low that time. So
The other thing that's interesting is I saw him put a stick up just for fun against one of the other players.
oh, it's short.
It's shorter.
Yeah, he played.
You would think he might play with a longer stick, right? So he could reach more, but
No,
plays with a shorter stick, so he has a more compact stroke and can hit the balls as solid as he has to.
yeah, I think he plays with a 55 or 56 inch key.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Considerably shorter.
Yeah, considerably shorter.
Yeah, so
Standard.
58 is standard.
Yeah.
If people
Standard's
don't know, but
58.
yeah, he does play with a shorter cue. It's a Ariel Carmeli cue. Alex sponsored by Carmeli. He's played with Carmeli cues a long time.
Well, we have some great sponsors in the pool industry. We
No,
have,
absolutely
we have
true.
Camilli Tips as a sponsor. We have Predator Cues as a sponsor.
Simonis Cloth.
Simonis
Aries
Cloth.
Balls.
Ivan Lee of Simonis Cloth has been a supporter for 15 years.
Couldn't do it without him. Thank you, Ivan. Lights Out Billiards Apparel.
Lights Out Billiards Apparel.
Of course, a lot of other sponsors, too.
Yes, a lot of
Sure,
individual
A lot of
sponsors.
individuals. Can't do it without them.
Can't. It's very true.
And Alex does have a little bit more of a deliberate style, so he's going to think his way through this one for sure.
Well, I'm sure he thought he was getting back to the table, so definitely wants to make use of his time out there.
Absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how he navigates it because he does have quite a few clusters. So I think we would see Mika draw this ball into the cluster, and we'll see if Alex would do something similar. See, no. So I suspect he'll go into them now. He may hit that sort of the 14 and the 7 there, and if he could leave the 8. See if he can avoid hitting that. I think if he can get on the left side of the balls, a 12 goes in the lower right-hand corner. And traditionally, you don't want to run into something unless you really have to. It's less certain. But we'll see what he elects. He just went over there like he was going to spin this 2 rails, which I think is an interesting choice.
You can see him take a look at exactly where he wants to hit this.
Yeah, I think that's be the favorite. So if he
Get a good view of him coming into this. You can see
but
just
it looks
center
like
ball.
he's gonna go.
Wow.
Yeah, so that I don't think that hit where he intended. I think the pace of that took that off course a little bit.
He certainly opened him up here, so
No, it worked out. It worked out, and I don't think that cluster with the 10, 12, and 14 is an actual problem. So 14 goes, 12, 10. He's got some pretty easy position there. So that was nice. So he created a pocket for the 7 ball. You know, it was blocked by the 8, so he nudged it over a little bit, and now he could use that for a key.
Key
if
ball, exactly.
yeah, you could use that for a key. So
Be interesting to see what he does here.
I
Whether
think he's going to bump the 2.
He's gonna bump the
actually.
2
Yeah,
out,
I think it's
right.
a little unavoidable.
and probably try to go down table at this point.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
he
those
has,
aren't bad balls to. Like the 10 is not a bad key to the 7 ball. He could have a stop shot on that, but obviously he doesn't want to leave this for last.
But the point is, he's got a plan, and he knows what it is from here,
Right.
and that's exactly what he's going to try to execute.
Yeah, so this is where he got himself into trouble last time, was just on the last few balls, which you could call the essential pattern. And we'll see. I think he's going to do 2, 5, 12 in the side, 10,
Yeah, that's what I think too.
7, 8, and that would.
Which is the reason he had to shoot the 14 to open up a pocket for the 12.
Right.
That's why he shot the 14 before the 2 ball in the last sequence.
Right, and now he can take the 12 in the side.
Now
to
he can
get
take
to
the 12 in
10.
the side and just
Mhm.
roll for the 10, and then try and get straight on the 7 and draw back a little and have a natural break shot on the 8. So,
Yeah, we'll see how far back he comes. We'll see if he'll come below the. Sorry, above the side pocket,
Maybe
so he
just
doesn't have to
stop.
stretch. Yeah. No, he's not.
from our angle,
Yeah, he
it's
just pull it up
sometimes
a
hard to
little
see, So, he stops and gets a pretty good angle.
And the 10 is dead in line with the 7, so
Yes.
he may just, probably.
Which,
Yep.
which he knew 5 shots ago.
Right.
So, he's
Well, he doesn't have much to go into the rail here, but I suspect he'll come into the rail and then come back out just above the side.
which is why he left that angle, so he can get to the 8 ball as a break shot coming off the rail.
Exactly. So he's just about in line with the side. And I think he'll be able to reach this without a bridge, hopefully for Alex.
Mika just going to take a quick break.
So Mika has a 63 or 4 ball lead, and right now he feels like an underdog.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Here's that stretch we were talking about earlier, Michael.
Yeah.
You can see him stretched out here on his break shot.
Yeah, he's gonna hit this with a low ball.
He'll hit this hard, yes,
Mhm.
he will. So
Yeah, but
he's-
it's almost like he had to hit that a little bit easier or a little harder. It's like,
so the good thing about hitting it hard is you open up the balls a little bit better.
Mm,
The problem is if you don't, you're often going to have to make a hard shot off the rail from the.
Yeah, I do wind up stuck on the end rail a little bit.
Yes.
It's almost.
So he's a little fortunate. He's at the 12 by the pocket.
Yeah, well, I don't think the 12 goes. He's got the 2, which I don't know if you can see that by the 9, and then you've got the 11 down on the lower right-hand corner of the screen.
Yeah, that's
here.
what I was looking at, the 11. I called it the 12. It was the 11 ball.
And I can't see exactly how close to the rail is, but.
So he'll come off and. Yeah,
Nice. That was a thin cut. I
yeah,
mean, that
just
wasn't
go up
an
and
easy
down.
shot in and of
No.
itself. So.
He's going
We'll
to get a
see.
little bit of a good roll here. He's going to knock the 1 and still have the 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or the 9 in the side.
Mm-hmm.
But he'll probably take the 2 because he's got have a full bridge here.
How do you like him to come back into these?
You know, funny you said that. I was just thinking that about saying to the audience that the thing that the players at this level think about is when they come into the rack, if something goes wrong, will they have a shot anyway?
Mm-hmm.
So he's thinking about what his so-called insurance ball is. Sometimes you just have to take shots without it. But if he goes into the rack now, off of the
Yeah, off of the 15 down
15
there, which
ball.
he's going to do now.
He's going to have an insurance. He's going to have the 13
Well,
and
I
the
think
2
he's going
as
to
an
aim to
insurance
hit
ball.
this. He's going to aim to hit full in the 6.
Yeah, he's going to go right into the rack.
He
So,
got a little unfortunate there. He didn't quite get much separation.
but if he didn't leave the
Yeah, the
13 as an insurance ball, he wouldn't have a shot now.
mhm.
So he's going to have to shoot it.
Yeah, it's just I think he's going to be jacked up over the 7 ball with
Yeah.
a bridge, so he needs to be careful with the
He's
foul
pretty
here.
handy with it. That's the other thing about straight pool is you use the bridge quite a bit.
Right, because
So
you're
if you-
usually all the way.
Right. If you play enough 14.1, you get pretty proficient with the bridge.
And Mika calling for a ref here, I think, because it is all ball fouls. So if Alex
That's right, if he
accidentally
touches,
if he
right.
touches the 7 ball, it's a foul.
Yeah.
And he loses his turn -1. So Mika going to grab our Andy Lincoln here, acting as head referee.
Andy's our tournament director and does a wonderful job of keeping all the scores and keeping all the tables straight, doing the charts, which is extremely complicated to plan the matches out over a 5-day period.
Nicely done there
That
by
was very
Alex.
good. That was a
Clean
good
hit.
shot. Very good shot.
Very nice use of the bridge.
Speaking of fouls, and when all ball fouls are played, even if your clothing touches the ball, technically it's a foul, and
Right.
you lose your place at the table.
I think here he'll probably try and. See, I was going to just say something he was about to prove wrong because I thought he would try and leave the 7 and so use the 6 to.
There you go.
That's quite nice. And as often they just need a little bit of separation.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
things will break. I think often another amateur mistake is to hit the balls, try and come into the balls with too much force.
Sure.
Because if that happens too, he could have created another cluster with the 7, or the 10 was going up toward the 14, so you can create more problems that way.
Right, that's a good point, Darren. If you lose accuracy, the harder you hit it. So he usually hit everything with a very firm stroke. Occasionally they'll roll the ball, but not very often.
No, I think they trust their aim.
Yeah, they trust their aim.
They trust
That's
their aim
right.
more.
It's wonderful to be able
more-
to trust your aim.
Yeah,
and pull.
exactly. So interesting. So he's going to do basically the same thing here,
Yeah.
where he's got 2 other easier shots, but of course he made it. But he made a similar choice there, which the same one that got Mika into trouble. So they will. You notice that he's protecting his balls, and sometimes patterns are as much about what not to shoot or what you don't want to shoot.
Well, he has a problem shooting the 10 ball now, which is what he wanted to shoot next. Because if he does, he may bump his break ball out of the way.
He's on the wrong side of it. Isn't
Right,
he?
he's on the wrong side of it, exactly. So I think his plan was
I
to
think
play.
he can break it, and he would be able
I
to
think he's
see
going
the
to play the
5
1.
and-
No, I guess not. He's going to just see what he does, probably draw, maybe.
Yeah, but I think that the 1 will bump above the 7. Yeah,
Yeah, there
so
you go.
that's okay.
So he was able to knock it out without.
And I feel like he
touching
hit
the
that
7.
a touch far, but in that, I don't know that it goes by the 3 anymore, so that probably went a little farther than he meant to. But I think he wanted to make sure he got out for. Oh, I'm sorry, he can just take it right now. I don't know why I didn't see that. I thought he was trying to get out far enough that he had a shot on the 5 ball, but he's quite all right here. So just a little inside to
So it's
straighten out
interesting
his
here
ankle.
what he's gonna.
Yeah, the 3 is not a bad.
It's probably low for a key ball
Yeah.
or high for a key ball.
But that,
So
I mean, another 3 inches on that exact shot, and that would be a pretty good break ball that he would have. But maybe he didn't favor getting back in line for that. So he's going to use that 3 ball, and I think just come 1 rail right to the center of the table. Or 2. And I just don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he's rolled a little far here.
Right. You ruined my 1 rail plan. have to speak sternly to him about that after the match.
Well, he may have liked it. I mean, interestingly, he may have liked that because he could leave the cue ball a little bit lower than the side pocket, which means he can hit the for him he can hit the rack with a full stroke.
You can see both the offensive play index for players very high, both over 900.
Wow.
So what exactly is that measuring? Sorry.
It's almost like the TPA calculates in where there's misses involved. So actually perfect would be 1,000.
Okay.
So 915, 905, very high level for both players. Takes into consideration safety play as well.
Oh, very good statistic.
It's nice to have something like that.
Yeah, it is a measure of
Very
performance,
nice.
right?
Excellent break shot here.
Yeah, those spread out really, really well. He hit those. Good pace.
And if you notice, he really didn't have to clobber the balls. He just had to hit them with a good pace and open them from that angle. So the angle is for the players. The angle of the break shot determines how hard you hit it, and where the cue ball is going to come off the stack determines whether you have to draw or follow it, or just hit it with center ball.
So what do you think he's going to bump? Maybe the 10? It's a little close. He could use it, but
Yeah,
I suspect he's going to...
If he has to, I guess he could leave the 6 ball.
Could be a little high.
Yes, the
I
fans are
think he's-
spoiled watching players at this level because almost all their break shots are on the side of the rack.
Right,
There
I
are
know.
break shots, standard break shots that are behind the rack.
And on the side of the rack,
And
side
on the-
pocket,
and on the
side
side
pocket
pocket,
break
but
shots,
Yeah.
These
under the rack break shots. I actually
Right.
really think under the rack break shots are the prettiest break shots.
I agree.
really like them when you have it right below and you hit it with high inside and go 2 rails, back out to the center of the table. It's really pretty, but they tend not to do it because they
always
play
have-
too good.
Right. They always have right. They're
Right.
usually
It's like 3/4 of my break shots, right? Theirs are like
they are usually where they want to be, and their break shot is where they want it.
No, I think it looks deceptively simple in a way, But
But
it's,
I think I'm required to say for my age group who's watching this that the older champions used many more break shots.
they weren't so particular.
They were not so particular. As long as they had a break shot, a back of the rack break shot, even if a ball was frozen to one of the side rails, and they could cut it in the corner and use the cue ball. That was a very popular break shot. But
Do you think that's also got to do with equipment difference, or is that just?
Oh, I
'cause
think
there's a big
yes,
style
it could be
difference now, obviously.
well, certainly those players would never shoot balls from the back rail that were really hard cut shots on the opening breaks. They play safe forever, But so that part of the game has changed.
It's become much more offensive.
Yes, the accuracy, the shooting is really going up. But I do think your observation is right. The equipment has had a big effect on the way the game is played. The average stick is 58 inches. When I played, it was 57 inches. The cloth is much truer and faster,
Yeah, balls are smoother.
and the balls are
They used
right.
to be made of ivory.
Exactly.
They were craggy.
They used to crack or have little dents in them, and these balls are perfect.
And then you have shaft technology, low deflection shafts, and things like that. So it's interesting.
I still manage to miss the balls by the same margin,
Hasn't
Yeah.
helped you.
Sometimes it's hard to tell what pocket I'm in.
That's interesting. So he may be leaving a behind the rack break shot here. Maybe he heard me. I'd like to see one. I mean,
Well, he's got a
Well,
good one.
well,
He's
the
got a great one right
the
there.
8 ball is
The
a
8 ball's a
great,
great
yeah,
break
and
shot.
the 12 is.
And
is
actually, the 9 ball is a great break shot. The problem with using a side pocket break shot is you scratch a lot if you hit the side of the rack.
Yeah, you can hit the side of the rack and roll right into the corner pocket. You're directed that way. So
hopefully,
I think he's going to shoot the 9 next, and then the 2-12 and leave the 8.
yes, he is. I think.
I'm going to get my wish.
You talked it right into existence.
Yeah.
Manifested my intention.
Right.
Must be in my horoscope.
Telekinesis with Alex.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll leave the 8 ball here. So, talking about a behind the rack break shot, we're going to see one very shortly.
See a lot of fans asking for today's results after the matches conclude the 7:30 rounds. You'll be able to find all the results on American 14-1 Straight Pool Championship group. If you're not involved in that, please join it. And we'll certainly post all the information up on the BSN Facebook page. Just go to Billiard Sports Network.
This is great. He's just going to roll forward a little bit here and try and get off the rail some. Yeah, so that was really nice. Perfect on this ball. So, and he's on the back half of the rack here. He traditionally hit this with high inside. And he'll come long rail, short rail back under the rack.
And out.
Right hand rail, come 3 rails that way around the back of the rack, which is what I was talking about. If the 8 ball were farther to the left on our screen, he would hit that with high outside and go through the corner of that rack.
Through the corner ball.
But he can't do that here. If he tries to go through, he'll get stuck or he'll come off and could scratch. So this is the pretty one.
Sometimes you can lose attention on how close the score is getting now. He was at 21 not that long ago.
Well, 2 more racks and it's basically tied. So.
Yeah.
Like I said, advantage to the guy shooting at this level. So we'll see. It looks like he is queuing to hit this.
Yeah, he's going to use just exactly like you said. He's going to come back off the rails. Exactly.
Yeah, very pretty, that shot.
Yeah,
I
that
love
shot's
that
a
break
shot,
shot. It's
right.
great. And it's nice, too, because he's pushed some balls up the table. And then if he has to go into the balls again, not as worried about recreating clusters and things like that. It's not everything is grouped at the bottom of the table. So you tend to get good results with that break shot if you hit it well, as Alex hits things well, so not a problem for him. I think he was trying to come a little bit farther than that. I don't think he got quite where he wanted with that shot.
So I think that 8 ball break shot, maybe you can show that again when you get a chance. I think that really demonstrates that where the break shot is, the ball you're going to hit after you pocket the ball determines exactly how you hit it. So, as you said, if the break ball was just a little bit more to the left, he would have hit it completely differently than he did. It's completely different English.
Yeah, different stroke.
Different stroke, yeah.
So he may use this opportunity. Shoot the one and go in.
No,
He's running.
hard to see his angle.
Yeah. He hit that nice though.
Well, yeah, they have such great strokes.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you can't. I can't. Since I can't execute what they're going to do, I didn't even think about it.
Gotta play within your limitations.
Yeah, exactly. The subtleties of straight pool are very interesting. I mean, sometimes it's really difficult to notice how much they're actually doing with the cue ball when they pocket a ball, because in most games you're concentrating almost entirely on pocketing the ball.
Well, and when you try and actually keep the ball a couple inches away when you're very close to your work, right, and you're trying to be very precise, it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a quarter inch either way at times can make the difference of how you want to play the rack or how you want to play the remaining balls in the rack.
Yes, I think that 12 ball goes, so he'll take that, and he may.
Well, they don't like to chance anything, so
Yeah,
they're always
that's what I was
thinking
thinking.
about.
To go forward and run into these balls is what's he
Yeah.
going to shoot next. And I
Exactly.
think he's hesitating on this because he's not sure what his next shot is, and he wants to be sure about it. Whereas I'm more apt to just run into it and hope for the best. I think he can be more precise, and he is being more precise. I think he just doesn't like where he thinks that collision leads. See what he does here. See, it looks like he's stunning and trying to hit that 7-4. So, oh no, he drew out. So he didn't like.
He didn't like how he was going to run into those balls. Exactly.
Right. Yeah, but he's not happy with that either because he wanted to get on the other side of the 9 ball. He's on the sort of the right side. He wanted to be on the left side of that line so then he could run into him because he's going to have to. But now he's having to take this ball away, which this is not.
Oh my, oh my.
Took it for granted.
So you see, so did I.
Yeah.
You don't expect them to miss shots like that, right?
No, but
Wow.
it's like those are the balls that they miss. It's interesting. It's not always.
Well, they take it for granted
Yeah,
too.
no,
Right?
yeah,
They're
it's
concentrating
like that
on
1
the,
second lapse, and every ball is worth the same. Every shot is worth the same. I think that makes Mika's point to me earlier, which is that there's no easy shots and there's no hard shots either. They're just all the same.
Well, that one could prove to be detrimental for Alex.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be tough. I mean, so Mika comes to the table needing 24 balls. There are 10 balls left on the table, so 9 in this rack. And then next rack would be enough to finish it. So he only needs one more break shot, essentially. And when you can break balls in place with the rack and not have to worry about a break shot, it makes that last rack considerably easier. So we'll see. That's it right there, is to run into those soft and create. He left himself options and knew where he was going to hit, so he's got 2 shots there, and now he's just going to see how he can get into the 7-4 there or stay below it and shoot one up table. But I suspect he's just going to run into him now because he has the 13 as a safety. Yeah, perfect. Perfect.
The lesson to be learned in Alex's miss is that these players make the same mistakes we do.
Mm-hmm.
They just make them far less often.
Way less often.
So they do the same things that we do at times. They jump up on a shot to see where the cue ball is going, or they want to follow the flight of the cue ball rather than keep concentrating on the object ball. And it's more likely to happen for them on an easy shot than it is on a hard shot. And I think those are fundamental errors. It's jumping up and taking your eye off the not staying down on the shot. A great player once told me, if you want to correct that, count to 5 before you move after you pocket a ball.
I don't think I've ever stayed down for 5 seconds. So
But just count to 5. You don't have to stay down for 5 seconds. Does it take you 5 seconds to count to 5? I'd be worried about you.
We are related, so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
says as much about
that
you
would be a
as it says
reflection
about
on me, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Taught me a lot of things, but not how to
Right.
count.
Yeah.
I double checked that 10 before I said it on the stream. You know.
Tell me it's a half an hour to count to 5. I'm going
Yeah.
to disown you.
Yeah. Yeah. Counting not required in law school.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Mika made nice work of that low ball. So he wants that to hold up. He's got a nice angle here and quite a bit of distance between the cue ball and the object ball. So,
Well, here's that miss from Alex that allowed Mika to get back to the table.
yeah, and really, I mean, so he had earlier smacked the table with his hand. So he was frustrated that he was on the wrong side of the other ball, and he just stretching over a ball here and just shoots it. Kind of jabs at it if you see his cue action and just.
See,
And he was trying to hit
he
the
was
10
yeah.
and the 15. So because he knew if he took that ball, he wouldn't have another ball to easily get there to shoot one. So he was trying to do too much and forgot
Yep.
rule 1, which
took
is
his eye off the ball.
make the ball. Yeah. So we'll see that. Yeah, so I think a lot of players would have crushed that break shot And if he had hit that harder, he might have scratched in the side. The cue ball was tracking that way, so we'll see.
Well,
He
here
doesn't
he's
have
left
an open
himself,
shot.
he may be able to make the 10. I can't actually see the angle on that. If not, he's going to be quite frustrated here not to get out from 110. We'll know in a minute whether he can.
Yeah, he's looking at it. I think he's.
Looks like it does go by.
Yeah, I think the way he's addressing it,
Yeah,
it
he
does look
should
like it does. Yeah, he's
full
gonna.
stroke, yeah.
I think he was just figuring out there. He's hold
Where
that
he
ball
wanted
up
to
a
go
little
after,
bit for the
right.
15, which I think goes by the 13 there in the lower right-hand corner. I think he would like to use that 12 and break them from the right side, but to do that he has to move the 9 and get back, and he wants to leave the 8 like an insurance ball, but he may not be able to do that if he goes 13, 9, 8 or maybe able to break them from the left side too, so we'll just see what he elects to ignore me entirely and shoot the 4 ball.
Well, I think you're right. I mean, because there's a ball blocking his path on the 11 ball, he really has to change how he's going to go into the rack. Of course, at this point, he's just thinking about winning the game. He doesn't need.
No, that's right. He doesn't need a break ball, but he does need to go into them. So
Yeah, he's going to do it now. Look how he did it. He got rid of the 9. He's going to come back and stop on the 13 and use the 11 and have the 8 as an insurance ball. So that's, if you're Mika Immonen, that's what you can do. He may actually go up.
Oh, interesting. Did he get straight on that ball? Because that would be unfortunate. Oh, no, okay. Well, I don't know. I can see the look on his face. He doesn't seem thrilled. Yeah, I think he would have liked to hit those a little harder, but that's totally fine. I mean, now he can use the 8 ball and come back up.
Yes. He probably will not hit the rack from here unless he can glance off the 1 ball. Because he really doesn't want to get trapped at this stage of it.
I don't see that happening. Although,
at this stage of the match, he just doesn't want to trap himself.
yeah, and
Well, he certainly doesn't want to be shooting over the 3 ball here. No, he's actually queued up okay.
Yeah, so
he just wants to shoot the 14 in the
Yes, he
side, and I
does,
think
right.
he'll use the 14 and go ahead and go into him.
Well, he doesn't
I mean,
need
you
a
don't
break, so
really-
he can use a 7, can't he?
Yeah, you can use whatever you want. 7 doesn't go by the 3, I don't think.
All right.
But you know, he would be wary of going into the balls from the right side right now because you're going to push them into the 3-7 and potentially create more clusters, and so there would be no point in doing that. You know, and anytime you run into the balls, there's a risk. So, yeah.
Yeah, see, so now
See,
he's
look, and he's
exactly what
stuck.
he didn't want to do. He's stuck. So he's going to have to bank his way out of this.
Yeah, he's.
And keep in mind the players haven't updated the score, so could be off here just by a little, like a ball, I think. So we need to see if Mika updates after this.
Yeah, we were unclear at one point if Mika had a foul or not. So
Yeah.
we could be off a ball. So I think Mika's just going to bank this.
Yeah, he's going to bank. He's a
yeah.
great banker. Oh, my.
Oh.
So now he yields the
Unbelievable.
table. This is exactly what players dread at this level, because 50 is definitely in striking.
Oh,
55
absolutely.
is definitely in striking distance of Alex. He ran more than that on his last attempt.
He ran 53, I think, right?
Did
Or
he started at 21,
is that-
didn't he?
Oh, see, he's going to update now, so we'll get an updated score here. I believe Alex is at 70.
Oh, you're right. It says right on there. I didn't see that there.
well, and
Mika's at 1. He's got himself at 110. How can that be right?
110-65.
Yeah, Alex hasn't updated his score either. Interesting.
So we'll see.
He's got to have it wrong, I think, because he was out just about that before he got back to the table.
Yeah, he was at 101, I think, when he started.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're close.
yeah, they'll catch up.
We'll see what
they'll
happens.
figure it out. And they have a sheet that they have to record the scores on, which is kept manually with a good old-fashioned pencil and paper. So they could have the score correct on there and not have updated it somewhere else.
Yeah, true. So I was going to
Yeah,
shoot the 11 here and
bump to 1.
bump the 1. He might be a little low on the 11 ball, though, which I think is why he's taking his time right now. I think he's shaking his head. I think he's a little bit low to bump that. He would skim it or come over top of it and not leave it. Could always use a 7.
Nah, I can't. He's got to shoot this now. He has to do it. He'll bump the 1 out.
Yeah, he's
be a
just going to
little-
wind up low
yeah,
because he
it'll
hit
be
the
a
top
little bit
side
lower,
of it.
right,
So
exactly.
now he's going to take the 2. Roll the 7 back a little bit.
So where the 1 has come to rest determines completely how he has to hit the rack to break them. What English he has to use, and whether he'll follow or draw or
Yeah, and unless
power through.
I think he's going to come to the rail and out here, sort of more to the
Oh,
center
yeah,
of the
sure he is.
table, and then so this is a high ball. This is a follow shot.
The
He's
follow
going to
shot.
follow straight through the corner of that rack.
I guess the rule of thumb is if you're low on the rack with a break shot, you draw. If you're high on the rack, you follow.
Looks like Mika's updated the score chart here.
119.
I don't.
That sounds right. Looks right, I should say.
Yeah, so Alex hitting this high ball.
Oh wow.
Oh, yeah, he almost got a really unfortunate kiss there, but
Wow, he may not be in great shape here if the ball doesn't pass. Can't see.
yeah, I think he's stuck.
He's stuck.
I mean, he just
Yep.
slapped his. You can almost always tell by the body language. And with Alex, he's smiling and has a huge grin on his face because that's just sort of his personality. But
Well, it's a good point.
I'm sure he's not thrilled at that.
They have to be able to shake off losses.
Oh,
I mean,
100%.
you can't keep it in your head.
He certainly doesn't want to let Mika back here at the table. with
No, he
any
doesn't.
type of
Not-
shot.
not-
I mean, 100%.
Yeah. But
And what do you do from here, Darren?
take a foul.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, he's
So tough. Where do
Yeah.
you put it at?
He just freezes
yeah,
it on
just
that.
freeze on the 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He makes Mika take fouls.
I think he's going to have to, but
Well, actually, you're right. He could go to the rail, just like that. That was a good shot.
Well.
Yeah, but I think he.
Well, Mika doesn't have much actually.
Yeah, it's like.
10 doesn't go anywhere else. I think. So this is
I
really
wonder if
young.
he's under it. I can't see if he has. I guess
Yeah, like it
he's not
doesn't-
under it enough to have a combo there.
I don't think so. So tough.
This is great streaming from the Billiard Network. You know,
Thank you.
this is
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
This
I
is
mean,
really terrific.
the equipment we're looking at is just terrific.
I appreciate you
Got all
guys
the
having us.
all the stats are up here for us. And
All the angles.
Little did you know when we had dinner, Michael, not too long ago.
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. Billiard Sports Network. So, all right.
Tough spot here for Mika.
Yeah, Mika
Tough.
giving
He
this
some want. He wants to shoot more than anything,
Yeah.
but he's not going to be able to shoot. I don't
And
think.
Mika
he's
needs
looking.
what? Do we lose the scores? Mika needs 6 balls.
So actually, yes. And actually, it was a great shot by Alex.
Yeah. See, I thought he might shoot that.
Yeah, he really put Mika in a bad position there.
Yeah.
Such a good safety
Yeah.
that if Mika just touched the
Sure,
14
yeah.
ball, he might have left out the combination, and then
Mm-hmm.
he goes anyway. So he was really in a tough spot. But
It's got to be frustrating, right? 119. And
Oh,
not-
yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
amazingly
Oh, yeah.
frustrating.
And you know, you're kicking yourself because you're so close to getting out and didn't.
Well, then you're thinking about the first ball you missed to let the guy back to the table, and now he just has to sit there and stew about it while Alex runs up to score.
Well, while it may not seem like much, the seeding is really a big advantage if
It
you're number
is.
one, because you get a bye in the first round, which automatically means you're going to move to the second round.
Right.
Whereas the person who doesn't get the bye could get knocked out in the first game.
True, and I think you double your prize money
You
that
double
way
your prize
too.
money,
so
yeah,
it's like
you
an
do if you
extra
win.
$1,000
That's
almost.
exactly right. Yeah.
Well, and to your point, what you said earlier, if Mika wins, he's going to win the bracket, and if Alex wins, there's going to be a three-way tie.
Right, we go to ball differential,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, we do.
you know, I don't know what will happen.
I need
in
to
that
look at the
case,
charts.
right?
Well, actually, it's more complicated
Well-
than just looking at the charts, because you have to add up all the scores
Right.
and
then
subtract the
subtr-
number of
right.
balls. It's totally.
Well, and the fact that this match is close makes it a little more difficult, because I think before, clearly Sean Wilkie would have been in first, and then the differential would have been between the two of them. But this is a relatively close match, so
Right.
you know, we'll have to see. I think when Sean beat Alex got to 106 or so.
Yeah.
Well, I had the pleasure of playing in a straight pool league when Sean Wilkie didn't know how to play straight pool. You know, but he was such a great shooter
Right.
that he obviously picked it up, and he really liked the game, and
Mm-hmm.
he's become an expert. I mean, an
Yeah, he's a
excellent.
very good
he's
straight pool
just
player.
An excellent
What's that,
straight pool
back
player.
at Big Daddy's, Michael?
That's exactly, yeah. You remember that, huh?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Pete
Oh.
started that straight pool league, and we had about 40 players in it.
Mm.
And then he started this tournament. That was 15 years ago.
Yeah, pool room owned by Rick Molinaro back
Rick,
then.
right. Rick was an excellent player himself.
Still playing rotation fairly well.
Ooh.
Wow.
Well, he knocked me out of the APA championships many years ago. But he was always a better player than I was.
Shot by Alex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he banked that 3 ball in, but it fell. So, well said. I think he was showing Mika who's the better bank pool player. But
And actually, to give
ooh, roll.
to give Rick his due, if he didn't help sponsor this tournament in the early years, there wouldn't be a tournament.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Rick.
Yeah, Rick and Cindy.
I think he's got to take care of this 211, so he's going to float over there and do that. He's going to leave the kind of 8-12, I think, here. And see Alex working with the bridge again.
You hear a sigh from Alex. He certainly doesn't want to play the 2 all the way up from here, but
Alex, a lot of character from Alex. Alex has a lot of character and is a character.
split the wicket on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did.
Play this 13 stop.
Mm-hmm. 6, 8. Just a little bounce off the rail. Give him some angle. Maybe get him above the side pocket so he doesn't have to use bridge. and he'll be in good shape. So Alex needs pretty much an even 3 racks here.
There you go.
See, I didn't think he would come that low, but he's got a nice angle here, so he
Right, he
won't
can
need a
reach it
bridge. He can
easily
reach.
and- yeah,
He can
exactly.
reach it. He's also right-handed.
Well, I mean,
He's
you-
right-handed, so he can do that on that side of the table. He couldn't really do that as well on the other side. So he's.
I mean, you really have to give him credit for being able to compensate so much for,
Oh, yeah,
for
it's
the height
amazing.
differential.
It
I mean,
is, yeah, it
it's
is.
amazing how good he plays. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is.
Yeah. So a little follow right into the rack here.
Right.
Hit that well.
Yes, he did. And
He had a lot of high on that actually. If he had just sort of stun followed that a little, he would have kicked more toward the pocket. But you could, after the rack made contact, you could see the follow take and drive him down toward the bottom rail there to prevent the scratch. So that really put a nice stroke on that actually, despite the fact it didn't look like he really hit it very much. So I think he'll just come up one rail here and maybe use the 7. Although again, he doesn't really want to. He's going to use the 7 now. He may
gonna
create
throw.
other clusters here, so he needs to be a little careful. He doesn't block pockets for the other balls. And okay.
yeah, he was trying to. He actually
Yeah, no,
pointed. He
he's
was trying to
wiggling.
open those balls with that
Right.
shot.
Right.
Yeah.
Although that may have been a little bit of a blessing in disguise because those are directed toward creating more clusters and problems on the left-hand side of the table, which is, sort of one of the issues.
Yeah, he went through.
Yeah, he did go through. Yeah.
Didn't expect to happen.
But I mean, he's fine. He's got plenty of
Oh, yeah, no,
opportunities to
yeah.
break these up. He may. That was interesting. Take the 11 here.
One of the things about 14.1 is
Oh, that
If-
was very nice.
yes.
Sorry, he just created that 10. I just
Right,
wanted to point
exactly.
that out. I mean, that was.
if you don't know what to look for, it's hard to see how great some of the shots are.
Yeah, definitely a game of subtlety. Yeah, it's tricky there. And
Yeah.
he, I mean, even that.
You're not going to be happy here.
And he's got to shoot his break
He
ball.
does. Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
Well, he may be able to cue and shoot the 14, but I don't
But
think he
he's
can.
not-
I think he has to shoot over the 3 to do that. So I don't think he's going to take that. He's going to end up shooting the. I mean, luckily he's got the 13 ball on the left hand side over there, which, he could use that, or he may be able to create another one. But
Well, he's got to hit at some point. He's got to hit the 6, 5, 4.
yeah, 100%. I think he's going to draw a
So
little bit here for the 3. Yeah,
He
exactly.
figures he's going to get a break shot anyway.
He's going to come right off the short rail right now and come into the 5 ball here.
My guess would be the 6 would end up his break shot.
Yeah, it depends how hard he hits this. I think he might, because if he hits it soft, he could get stuck without a shot here.
He
Yeah.
didn't go where he.
No, I mean, I think
Right.
if he ran flush into the 5, he either could get stuck or wind up without a shot. He didn't really have a safety ball, so I think he might have wanted to hit.
Oh, I just think he thought the 6 was going to come out. A
Yeah,
little
no,
more.
that might be right. I mean, even if he had
Yeah.
clipped the 5 ball,
No, he hit it
would've
exactly
the
where
6
he
would
wanted
have
to
come.
hit it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I agree.
Yeah.
Got a nice view line of Wilkie, as we were talking about him earlier down there playing Max Eberly, leading 117 to 78. Wilkie's up,
Well,
playing
his
well.
Maryland flag jersey
Yeah,
there.
yeah, it's looking sporty.
I need to get my hands on one of them.
There you go.
Being
Well,
being
I
a
know a
native,
guy.
being a native Marylander.
I know a guy.
You know a guy
Yeah, I
who know
do.
a guy who makes jerseys?
Yeah,
Apparently.
absolutely.
Man, introduce me to that guy.
I got you. Alex looking nice from here.
Yeah, these are nicely spread out. He'll be fine. See the 6. He's got a nice key in the 4.
We can use the 13,
Yeah,
13 ball. Or is
he's
that the 11
he's-
ball?
The
13 ball.
That's the 13.
Yeah.
Sorry, on the left hand
He
side
can
there.
use the 13.
Yeah, and I think so. He's just going to assess.
That's a
Because-
break shot.
Right. Right. So, and he'll work backwards from that ball,
Right.
you know.
And he'll probably leave the 4 as a
Mhm.
key, and maybe the 14 before the 4.
Think he'll take the 2-8 here and then come up 15-14-4, or you
know.
think he's going to shoot the 4 ball? Because I think like 2, 1 rail to the 8, sort of stop. 15 in the right, in the left side there. 14, roll forward a little bit, and he can just slide follow, and then
I think this is exactly what he wanted, to tell you the truth.
I think the angle was a little off for
Yeah, I
the two.
agree.
So
well, I mean, I
think he
think
wanted to go down and shoot those at the bottom.
I think what happened is he listened to me when I wanted the behind the rack straight. Shot.
Oh, wait a
What?
minute, yeah.
What?
oh, very interesting here.
What's going on now?
You can use a side pocket, I guess. in the break shot.
Oh yeah. Well, there you go, folks. We're seeing some alternate break shots. So 1 rail to, if he shoots this 15, I'm going to be upset
I have
because
to say,
I'm just going to quit commentating.
most of the side pocket shot
Like,
break
I don't
shots
think
I've
I
seen
know
are
that
not
much.
in the middle of the
I don't-
table.
yeah, I don't think I know that much about this, but if he shoots at 15, I'm quitting, right?
Yeah, he'll take the 8 here and come
Yeah.
back in the middle
He's
for the
the
2.
two.
He's
yeah.
8-2,
There you
8-2,
go.
15. Yeah, 8-2, 15, and then he's pretty good on the 14. And this, assuming you can accurately make this shot and hit the top of the rack pretty full.
Yes. Yeah,
It's a
that's the
great
key.
break shot. I mean,
Yes.
you will see the balls just scatter because you can kind of crush it. But if he misses at all and hits the side of the rack or even the side of one of the top balls, he could scratch really easily.
Well,
So
slight
you
pocket's not been the players' friends on this table.
Right. Oh, I'm sure he won't make
So,
that mistake again on
yeah.
the break shot.
I'm sure he's going to want to get a little close to his work here.
Yeah, and I don't know how he may. The fact that he hasn't shot this already means he has a little more angle on the ball than I think he wanted, but
He'll
we'll
probably
see when
just
he does
stun
it.
this
Probably
right
just
here.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
just
Oh,
gonna.
yeah, no,
he's just gonna.
He's really.
Oh, he
yeah, but
drove
now
back.
he didn't have enough angle.
Yeah, so here you go.
That was nice though.
All right. Well, it's great. The fans will be treated to a side pocket break shot before this match wraps up,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll.
But these are risky, so this is why you don't see as many of these. So the success or failure of this break shot probably will determine the match here.
So he's actually going to try, as you said, Darren. When the
He wants to
gonna try and
basically
hit between
he
the
wants to
8
split the 8-3. He wants to
the
hit
8-3,
right on the
he
spot.
wants to hit right in where the spot is, right in the
Mhm.
middle. And in all likelihood, he will.
Well, we'll get a good look at it here. Interesting break.
He'll hit this hard.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and he did. I mean, he hit that 8 ball full.
He hit the 8 ball or full.
Yeah,
but-
which I mean, it turned out
Which
obviously
is
it
very
turned out
safe.
well.
Right?
Yeah, no,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
You don't have to worry about a scratch doing that.
But he was a half a ball away from a problematic shot. You know, if you hit that
right.
half of the 8,
You can
get you
probably
into trouble pretty fast.
spin right in the corner,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
why that break shot is not very often played.
He didn't want to move that 4, but no problem. He's still all right here. Like we said, if you manage to hit that at all, then the ball's spread out pretty nice, and he's in great shape. So really a non-issue. So it looked like we were going to have kind of a runaway match.
I know, right?
And
Very.
it ended up being a tight one. We're going to come down to the wire here, and I bet Mika is going to be very unhappy if Alex runs out
Yeah,
here.
well, all the
For sure,
balls
yeah.
are. I mean, this rack is almost a foregone conclusion. All the balls are open, so
Well, he's certainly going to go back and really take a look at that combo. And when he sees the table, you know, he may not, you know, sometimes you get tunnel vision. You know, when you're at the table,
Yeah,
you
and
don't see the shots.
It's
all the
true,
time.
and it is much different to be in the booth and be at the table, and it's easy to say that they're playing the wrong ball, but,
Right.
you know, they're out there doing it. And I'm sure he had good reason, or his opinion on the game is certainly worth much more than mine.
yeah, and I'm sure Mika, listening to me say something critical about his game, would be a real treat for him.
Yeah, yeah, he would love that.
Right. Oh, terrific.
Yeah, I think he's going to take the 15 here and then come out.
just saw Dr. Michael Fedak subscribe to the network.
Oh, there you go.
He's a
Hey,
big,
Dr.
big
Fedak.
supporter of pool.
Yeah,
Really
thanks for
big.
tuning in.
Yeah, thanks
we
for
appreciate
tuning in,
your
right,
support.
Dr.
Yeah.
Fedak. Right.
Yeah, we've been thrilled to have so many viewers tuning in to this great game over the last 3 days.
Yeah, I'd love to see attention for pool and especially attention for straight pool. So. Alex again with the bridge.
It's been interesting. We've had viewers from all over the world.
No, I just noticed that. I was just
Yeah.
about to comment on that. You know, it's
Belgium,
really an international.
Germany.
Yeah,
Oh, it's been great.
it's amazing.
That's
It's an
good.
international audience, and you know, as is the field. I mean,
And
our
I
field is
think it's-
international field.
Yeah, I think it's important too to help further, straight pull.
Right, because it's really not played that much outside of the United
Right?
States.
Yeah,
so-
absolutely. You got players like Albin Ocean. I think this is his first year here.
Mm-hmm. He played.
He
He
played
played.
Played before?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
played
Okay.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
He didn't play last year, I don't think, but he played 2 years ago in Virginia. And I heard him say in an interview that he does not practice any game but straight pool.
Oh, really? Wow.
That when he practices, he basically will practice the break of whatever tournament he's playing. If he's playing 9-ball or 10-ball, he'll practice a 9-ball break, a 10-ball break. But he doesn't practice 9-ball or 10-ball. He'll just practice straight pool.
Well, it certainly lends to helping your game and all the other
Oh, Albin, a phenomenal player.
disciplines.
He was in my bracket, which means mostly I just watched him play.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
you know.
I watched everybody play my.
I watched Niels play earlier. That was fun.
And I'm asking Jake when he updates the score to leave my name off. You know, I have family
Oh,
that
that's
are out
great.
there watching this stuff.
Yeah, right.
We got a reputation to maintain.
Right, yeah.
What are you talking about? I'm in the booth. I know how it went.
Right.
Yeah, well, you can leave his name off the score chart too. Like father, like son.
Wow.
Yeah, I think Niels beat me 125-2, and he shook my hand. I said, "Well, at least I'm still a good lawyer." Keep your day job. I think he'll leave the 8-ball. He hasn't really been leaving that up-table key ball. He doesn't seem to like it, but I kind of like it. I don't know what he's.
Well,
He would have to get up and take the 9. I mean, but he may shoot the 8-9 right now. But I like the 8 as a key ball for the 1, but he would need another way to get on the 9. So he's just going to go ahead and take that off. But, those balls against the rail like that are so easy to get position on.
Oh, yeah.
That to play position on a ball against a rail versus a ball in the middle of the table.
He's just going to slide this
So,
over
I'm
here.
channeling Bobby Hunter right now, who
because he doesn't need a break
Told me
shot
that.
in the next rack, he's an overwhelming favorite to win the match.
Oh, sure, yeah. As long as he doesn't. Basically, he just has to not get
He's
stuck.
He's
Yeah.
only going to need 12
So,
12 or 13 balls.
He's going to
13
be.
balls.
Yeah, he's going to play the. His pattern obviously is much
Yeah,
better, so he's going to
so.
play the 5-7-1, and then all he has to do is not get stuck. They may take the 1 and use the 7 as a break ball. I suppose. I thought he was going to use the 1.
So where did he start around?
What
Seven.
when Mika?
Yeah, about 70. I
70,
think,
that's
yeah.
what I thought,
Yeah, he's on a
70.
40-ball run.
So if you think about it, he's
He's
been under pressure every shot.
Mhm.
Mika sits at 119. He's a looming
Mhm.
favorite to get a few balls.
Yeah, right.
He
Mhm.
misses, and he's still able to execute
Well, and
again and again and
I
again.
think that's another thing about straight pool people don't necessarily realize is the weight of a miss
Yeah.
is huge.
Sure.
Because in 9-ball or 8-ball, if you miss, you may lose a game. You may lose 2 games if a guy breaks and runs on you or whatever. But in this, you may lose the whole match, for 1 miss.
Yeah, and
So
the new alternating.
The pressure there is, Alex knows if he misses, it's over for the whole time he's been doing this.
Yeah.
So you see,
He's not thinking.
he's just
about
hitting this ball with left.
I don't think he's thinking about that. which is
Ooh, that was a tragic bump.
Yeah, this was.
That was a tragic bump.
Yeah.
All he had to do was not get stuck. I don't know
Well,
if he
he
can
may have
see
the
the 9
9.
ball
Yeah, he may
here.
have the 9. If he's got the 9, it's
Yeah,
probably
it's
over.
Sort of match difference here, whether he can see the 9
No,
or
he
not.
can see it because I could just
So
jack it
tough,
Yeah,
on
but
though, right?
he's up over it,
Wow.
and then what's he? Oh man!
Suspense.
Oof!
Good
Yeah.
shot. Very
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
shot.
that was pretty much the difference. Another inch or two, one way or the other.
For the viewers at home, much tougher than he made it just look.
Mm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
'Cause he only has a real small portion of the
Yeah.
cue ball to hit there, and he's got to hit it perfectly.
Plus
that's
all
very
ball
good.
foul. He doesn't want to hit that 4 ball. So great shot there by Alex.
There you go. So he's actually got all the balls open that he needs. Figured out.
Oh, yeah, he's fine. He doesn't need to open anything more. He just needs to make 9 balls. So he probably won't touch that cluster at all. And then he doesn't need to worry about leaving a break ball, obviously. So just rolling them out,
What a match.
running them off. Well, we have seen some uncharacteristic mistakes, so let's not count our chickens, but it has been
What do
great.
you,
Lot
you
of back and
prefer a
forth.
close match like this, or you like a runaway? What's your
you know,
preference?
it's-
Oh, I like this.
You like this,
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's
like the
exciting,
back and
right?
You
forth.
see
You get the
both
kinda-
guys, really having to go at it. You know.
Mhm. Yeah, I like a little safety play, a little back and forth.
Yeah,
a little,
exactly. Yeah.
Right, little
you
woo me,
should-
woo me
yeah,
before I get the
yeah,
win.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you think about it, it was that safety that Alex made that won him the game.
No, that's 100% right.
Yeah,
That
absolutely.
little safety,
Yeah.
and he
Well, and then he didn't. I think Mika didn't take the intentional foul, which he should have taken there, which may have put Alex on 3. You never
Yeah,
know.
You never know. You
I-
never know.
I think actually Alec calculated that Mika would have a hard time with that safety
Yeah.
because if he moves that ball just a little forward, it would have been a dead combination on the other ball.
Sure.
So much so that Mika played the ball even though it was a little off and tried to get out from there. But
That was interesting.
so some days it
Look at
goes
this.
good at the office and other days it doesn't.
I mean, this has got to be all she wrote here. Everything wide
No,
open.
this is over now.
And Mika
He
is
may
just
shoot the
got.
10 in the side.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I
f-
don't. You
the
just don't
funny
need
thing
to use the
is-
bridge there.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I think Mika is still going to win the bracket.
Yeah, possibly. I see Wilkie
think so
just
because-
finished off
because he
Max
got-
down there.
Okay, so Wilkie beat, but what did Max get to? 78?
Got 78. Yeah.
Yeah, I think because Mika got to 119
He's
in
gonna win
his
the
loss,
bracket,
I
I
think
think.
he's still going to win the
Yeah.
bracket.
Yeah.
And I also looked at them before this. It looked like, so guys, it's what you get to and then minus how many balls you gave up, to your opponents throughout the your wins. And I think he was ahead as of this match. So
But
we'll see.
in the sense of never wanting to give your opponent a mental edge.
Oh,
You
no,
know,
Yeah.
you-
Come on.
he's
Yeah.
really
no,
he's
this
really
is-
not looking at it that way.
No.
You know.
Just in terms of standing result, it may not be any different. So.
He's feeling good now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he needs 2, doesn't he?
3.
3.
3.